guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another Game of Thrones video, of course, leading up to what would be the second last episode now for Game of Thrones Season 8. So, and the series, really. So, wow, okay, so we just did our review for Episode 4. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't seen it yet, but I'll put it at the on-screen videos for you guys at the end of this video, so you guys can go, of course, ahead and check out the review for Episode 4. So, just final thoughts on the episode. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely incredible episode this week for Game of Thrones. Two deaths really, because the dragon and Missandei, of course. So, super excited for this episode. So, we know Game of Thrones. We know how the show goes. The second last episodes are always the ones to look out for. So, for this week, for sure, this is going to be a huge episode for Game of Thrones, and I can feel it, and I know that this is probably our last battle episode of the, probably the entire series, because I'm pretty sure for the series finale, we're just going to get, like, an end. This episode is going to be probably what would be the last battle of the series. So, who will win? Cersei or Daenerys? So I'm kind of going to predict that as well. So, but before I do, I just want to break down the promo real quick, as usual. So, of course, we have Cersei, we have, King's Landing, we have the Golden Army, and it looks like in this episode we're going to get to see, Daenerys, Drogon, and, fully attack, King's Landing. So, we see Jon, we see Davos, we see some of the others, we see Tyrion as well at Dragonstone, so we see a lot of our lead characters, and they look pretty terrified, so that's one thing. I don't know if they're, because I don't know, the army that Daenerys had at the end of Episode 4, that's not much, in my opinion. That's really not much. And honestly, if Cersei wins, that's not good, because honestly, nobody's going to be happy if Cersei wins the Game of Thrones. People will be very, very sad about it. So at least I would be. I want to see someone win. I want to see someone from our good side win. Even though I'm not 100% confident that I think Daenerys is going to survive. I don't. I'm still not confident that Daenerys is actually going to sit on the Iron Throne at the end of the series, and it's going to be that simple, that black and white, and Cersei will be dead, they will be alive, maybe a few casualties, but that's it. No, I really think that in this episode, we are going to see probably, I do think our good guys will win, but I don't think it's going to be Daenerys that sits on the throne. It's too obvious, it's too good to be true for this type of series. I just don't think it's going to happen. And I actually do think that both Daenerys and Cersei will be killed, which I know might surprise some people, but I don't see Daenerys making it out of this one. I don't. I really don't. I don't see Cersei getting out of this either, because, I mean, she could, but it's like, there's no closure if you do that. There really isn't. I personally view this going a couple of ways. Either Jon sits on the Iron Throne, which I wouldn't mind, but I feel like that would be also a little too hopeful. You could have Sansa be the one, but I don't really care to see Sansa on the Iron Throne. We could also see a few of these others, like people like Tyrion. I'm like, no, Tyrion doesn't really care much. So, really, I think it's going to come down to either Jon or Sansa or somebody like that. I just don't think Daenerys is sitting on that Iron Throne at the end of the series. And I don't actually think Cersei will either. I actually think that if for once, it's going to be a battle where there's a lot of people that die and not really one side wins, It might sound crazy, but I just don't see Cersei surviving. There's no closure if Cersei is, still alive at the end of the series. And I also don't see Daenerys, surviving either. If Daenerys survives, or if Cersei survives, or both somehow survive, which I really don't think is going to happen, because we are watching Game of Thrones here, that's going to be a big shock for me. That's for sure. So, it looks like a great episode. Write your comments below. Who do you think is going to win the Game of Thrones? Will we find out this week? Will we find out next week? Probably next week, but probably a pretty huge battle this episode, since their second last episodes are always huge. So, write your comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, of course, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.